Welcome. Today, I am going to be talking about one of my favorite oils to help with anger, frustration, irritability during perimenopause and menopause. And also, it helps with anxiety and depression, sometimes two sides of the same coin. So, welcome. My name is Angela Warburton. I am an Eastern medicine practitioner with over 25 years of clinical experience working with women in the clinic, hands-on, helping them transition all phases of life, but in particular midlife and menopause. I am also a midlife woman who knows what it's like to go through this transition, which is powerful, but sometimes not easy. And so my role here is to give you tools that you can put in your back pocket to help you understand your body, but also pull out and use in conjunction with whatever else you're doing to have a very holistic approach to this powerful time of life. So welcome. So essential oils are one of my favorite ways to integrate plant medicine into daily life. I use them every single day, and you can use them in a protocol. You can have them with you. You can use them multiple times a day. I'll explain a little bit how I use them at the end. But today we're going to talk about an oil that is great for transitioning and helping with anger. And the oil is marjoram. Marjoram, which the regular marjoram, like the herb you might use in cooking and soups, in essential oils, it is affectionately called the great pacifier. Yes, bring it on. So really helpful for relaxing the body, the heart, and the mind. It has a profound effect for calming and for dissolving sort of hardness. If you think of sometimes in life, it can feel like there's a hard edge and here's a hard edge, and we're just knocking hard edges against each other. So marjoram, I look at it as like we're putting those little corner, when you have those like protectors for your coffee tables with little babies, and it just takes the hard edge off. So that's kind of what marjoram is. It just helps to soften that hardness. It helps to dissolve resistance by relaxing the physical and emotional tension in our body. So it softens our boundaries. It's really helpful for unblocking stuck energy patterns. So any kind of old traumas that might come up, because for sure during menopause, anything that we haven't processed will come up. What needs to go? What needs to be seen and shed? What needs to be integrated more in some way? So it allows these things to come up and transform without triggering that defensive reaction. Anyone ever get defensive? This is one of the biggest things. Like sometimes I'll just come out with my gloves on, ready to go. And so it's really helpful just to be like, okay, create a little space, create a little bit of softening. So it helps to soften those protective barriers that we so often have, which I find really comes up because we often need so much more time when we're going through this transition of perimenopause and menopause. We can get almost, it feels like an animal that's trapped in a corner, and it can be really easy to bite and just to get that time. So when we can integrate these different tools to help create a little softness so that we can say with kindness, you know what, I can't do that right now, or I just need more time on my own, or say something without that biting nature. This can be really helpful. And it's also helpful to soften that fighting, but also that when we can get a little too distant or aloof. How are you? Fine. Whatever. I don't want to talk to you. So that it can be both sides of that. So it's great for disconnection, conflict, and it's any kind of old stuck emotions that just off kind of feeling that can come up. It has a lot of other amazing benefits as well. It actually is a bit of an aphrodisiac. So if anyone has this like plummeting libido, there's a couple of reasons for it. One of them, if you're like feeling really tense, it's like, don't touch me, don't come near me, don't, no. So when we create some of that softening, we're more receptive. There's another pattern, which I'll talk about another time, which is more of like a flat line, like I don't have a spark of anything in me. That's a different pattern. But if it's more of this irritation, can be really helpful for that. It's also considered a nervine and a sedative, which means it relaxes the body and the mind. So if we're hyper agitated or like anxious, it can be really calming. So for anxiety or restlessness, irritability, moodiness, but that anxiety that comes when we're sort of tight and wired, it be helpful for that. It has an analgesic, so helps with pain, and an antispasmodic effect. So spasms, tightness, and pain. So if you're someone in perimenopause who's getting really strong menstrual cramps, it can be really helpful for that. And it like spasms. Sometimes women get a lot of leg cramps. There's a few patterns with this, but if you can use it for that as well, because it helps to soften the spasms in the body. So this can be acute, it can be chronic. Also can show up with this if you have tension headaches. A lot of women get migraines, tension headaches during this transition. I'm going to show you a point that you can use it on that will be helpful for that. So it helps reduce the pain and that holding tightness that can come around this phase as well. It's antiviral, antiseptic, antibacterial as well. So that helps with the immune system, which is great. It also can be helpful for skin as well. So any kind of, if you have skin breakouts and things like that. I'm not getting too much into that, but just so you know. And anything that gets worse with stress. So if you have a nervous stomach with stress, if you've got IBS, that sort of that constipation and then very loose stools, that is often what we say a stress pattern in Eastern medicine. And so using marjoram, it will help to soften so that you're not getting that sort of extreme or that swing. You get a lot of bloating with stress. This can be really helpful as well. Just putting that on the point on the center of your abdomen, between equal distance between your belly button and your xiphoid process, which is the end of your sternum, right in the center there, halfway between. That's a point called CV12. I'm not showing you that today, but just so you know it's there. That can help with some of the bloating as well, was one point. And it helps just aid and support the digestive system. Because if you think about it, when we're super tight, well, when we're stressed, the body says, okay, we got to survive. We're not digesting, and it will literally not supply blood, not flow blood to the abdomen, to the digestive tract. So then we get problems that way. So it helps to soften so blood can go back to where it needs to go to when we're relaxed. It also has a cardiovascular relaxant side. So it helps to soften, because again, if we're really tight, I'm going to talk about from the Eastern medicine perspective of the liver system that it controls, but it controls this whole flank abdomen sort of area, and we become like a locked box. And so sometimes like you get tachycardia, so a fast heart rate, arrhythmia where it's irregular, or palpitations, or if you're someone who has hypertension, relaxing the system so that blood and energy can flow where it needs to go versus like it's trying to move in this area. That can be really helpful as well. So if it's from stress and you notice all these things get worse with stress, marjoram will be helpful. And it also has a cerebral sedative component as well. So if you have trouble sleeping during stress, because of stress, if you have insomnia, PMS, the anxiety that shows up at night, or just anxiety in general, marjoram can be really helpful for those as well. And any kind of dysregulated system in the in particular, the limbic system and the basal ganglia system, marjoram helps to regulate overactivity in those brain areas. So they can relate to an excess of dopamine and a deficiency of the neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin. Any of you like to geek out on that stuff? There you go. And this is an imbalance that we often see with anxiety and depression. So it will help to rebalance those parts of the brain as well. In Eastern medicine, we say it affects the liver and gallbladder system. So the liver and gallbladder actually impacts the liver and gallbladder organ, but the systems in Eastern medicine are so much more than that. And so the liver gallbladder system helps to circulate energy everywhere in the body. It also is responsible for the emotions like anger and frustration, also forgiveness, and any emotion. We say the liver has to help process that, the liver system. We say the wood system in Eastern medicine. It also has an influence, marjoram, over the stomach and spleen. So that's why it affects that digestive system and the heart, all the things related to the heart. So the pericardium, we say heart and small intestine in TCM. And so those anxious feelings, the heart rate, the heartbeat, we say it affects our shen, which is the light basically that shines out of us, that is us expressing ourselves in the world. The heart system is part of that as well. So it regulates qi. So vibrant, circulating energy in the body and relieves what we call stagnation. So if you've listened to me speak before, I speak of this kind of internal logjam where, if there's a river and a log falls down, it's like, whoa, all of a sudden you get a backlog of stuff. So marjoram helps to remove that logjam so things can flow. If you have a chi stagnation in the body, particularly in the liver system, you're going to get tension in your shoulders, occipital headaches, headaches that wrap around the side of your head. Often it goes through the hips, also circulates the inner thighs up through the pelvic region. So PMS, menstrual pain, tight hips, irritability, it goes up through the sides of the body, so affecting that digestive system. They're all influenced by a stagnant chi. So it helps to regulate, to move that energy so that things calm down. If you're someone who gets a lot of menstrual cramps, you can actually do a little bit of marjoram so if you want it diluted, but then you can just rub some in your hands and put one hand on the front of your belly and one on the back of your by your sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of your spine, and just hold it there. And I had one client was somewhere, she had marjoram, but she didn't actually have any pain medication, and she used the marjoram on her low belly and her cramps dissipated very quickly. So it's a nice adjunct to anything else you're doing. So there you go. It's got so many things. What else do I want to say about that? So liver, I said circulating energy. If you feel that tight sort of swirling energy, that anxiety, or you feel like it's just like you feel like your life force, your enthusiasm, everything is just depleted. Sometimes we're holding ourselves back, holding ourselves down. And so marjoram can help to, if it's coming from a stuck energy, it can help to release that so things can move again. And because it also affects that digestive system, we'd say it's the liver and spleen. When the liver system is overactive, it'll attack this digestive system. So I say it's like, two friends that just don't bring out the best in each other. They really shouldn't be hanging out like that. Or one's like bullying the other one. So liver can be a bit bullying towards the spleen. So like flatulence, bloating, abdominal cramps, stress-related indigestion or IBS. I already said all that, but I'm going to say it again. Or sometimes when that energy goes up, you're going to get tinnitus, ringing in your ears, headaches, dizziness, muscle tension. This can be a sign of that liver system disharmony. And if we're overstimulated, it can help bring that energy down. Another side note of what marjoram is really helpful for is during times of transition, of endings or loss, and it helps to release any old stories and beliefs and helps to facilitate a smoother transition to a new phase of life. So this is more the energetics of it. We are all those things: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And these endings and transitions, that's what perimenopause and menopause is. We are ending one phase of life as we enter into a new one. Everyone remember that. It's a new phase, it's exciting, there is stuff there, but this transition, just like puberty got us from childhood to our fertile years, that wasn't necessarily easy, but it was necessary. And so there are things we just can't take with us in this next stage. And so to help with this transition, if we're resisting, trying to stay the same as we were, and move forward into this stage, it's not going to work. And we're going to feel it and see it through emotions, through physical tension, through relationships, through all these different things. So how can we support ourselves to go through this transition with more ease, with more grace, and with more tools to help say, okay, I'm going to release this holding, this gripping that I have, and let what needs to go, so that what needs to come can come. Because we can't see where we're going yet. We're only in the midst of it. So it can seem really scary in this transition because you're letting go of a life that maybe you loved a lot of things about that life, but the future is unknown, even though it's here to get you to a really powerful time. And menopause is this really powerful integration, transition between wisdom, experience, inner knowing, not caring so much what other people think, and using your life force for good. So marjoram can be really, really supportive for that. So there's 2 points. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to use them. First, most important things with using essential oils is you want them to be high quality. You cannot use anything synthetic. It will not work the same way. I have a list of companies, a few companies that I use that I love below. And there's one that you can get a discount on. And I'm putting together actually a free little mini booklet on essential oils for midlife women. So if it's not in the notes now, it will be there soon. And I'm talking with some of my friends at a couple of one of the essential oil companies that I love, and they're going to do a little discount for some of the oils there for you. So stay tuned for that. But there are so many great oil companies out there. So if you have one that you love, as long as it's a good, pure product, have at her. It's great. That's amazing. So what you want to do is you get a pure oil and you're going to dilute it. For this marjoram, you're about a 25% dilution, so 25% essential oil with 75% carrier oil. Carrier oil can be fractionated coconut, jojoba, sweet almond oil. There are many oils. If you have little bottles like this, you can dilute them, like 25 here and the rest carrier oil. If you don't, you can put a drop of the pure oil in your hand and then put a drop or two of the other oil and just mix it. And the way I use oils, I use them on acupuncture points. So acupuncture points all have an action and indication, something that they're used for. So when we combine the power of an oil with the power of a point, it's like a little mini portal that goes into your body, and it's a great self-care treatment. I send my clients home with oils and get them to do a protocol at home to keep the treatments going. So the technique is the diluted oil, you put a drop on your finger. I'll tell you the point, some are center line, but if they're on the sides of the body, they're on the same side of both bodies. And you're just going to lay the oil on the point and hold for 1 to 3 minutes or until you feel a change. So a change might be like, change might be tears. That's happened to me many times. I put an oil on and I start to cry. That's happened to people in the clinic. Sometimes people start to laugh. Sometimes we just feel stuff. It's going to be different for you. And sometimes you might not feel much at all, and that's okay. So 2 points I'm going to share with you. The first one, I'm just going to show you on my body here. It's on the top of the shoulders. It's where often, if you know someone comes up and gives you a massage and you're like, oh my God, do more of that, please. Top of the shoulders, the point is called gallbladder 21, and it's on the high point between the tip of your collarbone and the middle of your spine. And it's that top part right here. And you're just going, same thing on both sides, and you just hold the oil on that point. Close your eyes. You can stack things like do some 2x breath. Means breathe out longer than you breathe in. You can just feel your feet on the ground or feel gravity supporting you. Just allow yourself to receive the oil, and holding that for 1 to 3 minutes. That will relieve tension, particularly if you have tension that crawls up from here, up through your head. You get migraines that start here, wrap around your head. Really, really helpful. And then the other point is a point called liver 3. Then I'm just going to share the point with you. This one is on the foot between the big toe and the second toe, and there's 2 tendons that run down the side, and it's in between those 2 tendons. You might feel a little bit, this actually looks like a little bit high, so it's just a little bit down from there. You might feel a little bit of a divot, like your finger, if you go very lightly along, it might just drop in, or you might feel it's like a little, almost like a little mound there, and it might feel very tender to the touch. You've been feeling super irritated and you feel that you're frustrated. This might be quite tender to the touch. This is the liver channel. This is the gallbladder channel. So it's gallbladder 21. Liver 3 is the other point. They are paired. They work together as a team. If you get period cramps, PMS, that cramping, that you might do the liver 3 point that goes up through the low abdomen. That's where the liver channel wraps around into that low abdomen. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. I'm doing part 2 of one of my other favorite oils for irritation and anger. And this one is helping to the next one will be helping to transition anger through a little more play, a little more fun, a little more joy versus like, we gotta go hardcore. So check that out. If you, that's coming up this week as well. If you like these videos, please press like, hit subscribe. If you want more content like this, share it with friends if you feel it would be valuable for them. I'm here to serve, to share, and to help women transition through this powerful time with as many tools as they can. So I'd love to hear your comments. I love to hear your requests. I'm creating new content every week. So thank you for being here. Wishing you a beautiful day or evening. Enjoy Marjoram. A little more ease to that anger that can come through midlife. Bye for now.